Hi, and welcome to our next debate. Joining us today, we have Jacob and Brandon, and they're going to talk to us on the issue of environments, looking at this coming election 2012. So I'll let our representatives introduce themselves.
Hello, my name is Jacob. I'm for Obama, supporting the Democratic Party, and we're on the topic of environment.
Hello, I'm Brandon Cochran. I'm supporting Gary Johnson, the Libertarian Party, and I am also covering the environment.
Okay, thank you guys for joining us here today. Jacob, let's start with you. If you could go into more detail on who your candidate is and what their stance is on environment.
Well, so far Obama has a very wide grasp of a lot of the environment problems, such as fossil fuel consumption, green energy, renewable energy, and greenhouse gas emissions. First of all, for biofuels, he's going to create jobs, and he's already created over 600,000 jobs for creating like natural gas and natural fuels. Clean energy, such as solar power, and windmills. He's already invested quite a bit of money in order to create over 250,000 jobs. He's also restoring the environment, such as Great Lakes and forests. He also is cleaning up the BP incident a lot more than it was beforehand. And for greenhouse gas emissions, he's trying to reduce the petroleum consumption massively. So that's what I have.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jacob. Brandon, same question.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, sorry. Well, what is your candidate's stance on the issue of environment?
Okay. My candidate's stance on the issue of environment is not how the environment is being affected by people today, but how we are just using everything that nature is giving us, like natural gases, natural resources, and how we could use something so much different instead of using all of those. I agree with Mr. Obama's plan, but we also have some differences. I would rather try to spend less money on using other resources to power cars or power housing, or just plain powering electricity. But I would rather add more jobs and spend less money building solar panels rather than buying them from other countries.
Okay, great. Thank you, Brandon. At this point, guys, we're going to move towards a period of debates and refuting. So, Jacob, we'll start with you. If there is anything in Brandon's argument you want to point out or discuss.
So, what exactly are you doing for greenhouse gases and cleaning up the air?
Cleaning up the air, I want to focus on less emissions of gas from, say, how you pass by some of those coal mining places, factories, where they turn it into something much more than it is, how they just dump the smoke and how they dump all of that air, all of the emissions from like dust, how they just have it all going straight up into the air and creating, well, of course it can affect somebody that has asthma a lot worse than it does somebody who doesn't. Because basically when you're polluting the air, you might as well, everybody in America is just smoking a cigarette, maybe 20 packs a day, should we say. Because you're inhaling that instead of pure oxygen and pure air. You're inhaling something that's not common to your body, not something your body's looking for.
So what exactly are you going to try to do?
What I want to do is I want to try and eliminate where they dump it. Because it'd be better off dumping it in one location, but it's spread out slowly. But I would rather it be put out in a different way instead of an air form. maybe have it collect, and then they take that collection and do something else with it, something, maybe reuse the collection, recycling.
Okay. Why not just eliminate it at the source so we have no more?
Well, because there are some things we still need in this country to do certain things. Like you need coal to run, some things. They still have those steam-powered trains, the coal-powered trains that burn coal to keep going. They still use those sometimes. But I don't want to eliminate it because if we do, we might need to fall back on it later,
Okay.
depending on the circumstances.
Okay, are there any other questions either of you would like to bring up at this time?
What are you wanting or going or planning on doing to not only help the environment and keeping the natural resources, but also alternative power for vehicles, housing, factories?
Okay. Well, on the topic of alternative energy, I am creating more jobs as to produce biofuels. The corn.
Mhm.
The corn fuels for cars, and yeah. And what was your first question?
I wanted to know what is your plan on helping not only preserving the natural resources, but still making alternative ways to power cars, housing, factories, etc.
Well, things such as deforestation, I plan on actually replanting, refurbishing and recreating forests and helping preserve them rather than destroy them.
That's good. But again, I'm not sure I got the question answered, but I did for the natural resources. But what do you want, what do you plan to do to change the way cars go, gas-wise, power-wise, and also to preserve on what we use for powering our houses instead of an electricity plant?
Well, kind of almost change the whole way we do it now. Use green energy rather than fossil fuels and gas, because that's just polluting our air. And if we could create more jobs by creating green energy.
Yes.
Okay, any other questions or concluding thoughts?
If this is a concluding thought, I know we had very little to disagree with because, we basically want the same thing for America nowadays. Well, our candidates do. But we do have different angles, and I was wondering if there was any certain angles that Obama has towards the same arguments that we share.
As in how, angles towards dealing with the problem.
Yes, dealing with the problem and maybe trying to prevent a deeper economical rut for us in the near future.
Well, one of my favorite quotes is, you gotta spend money to make money. And I think if we spend just a little bit more money now, eventually it'll start to turn out for us in the future.
I understand. Is there anything you would like to ask me or?
No, I think you gave me a good gist of what's going on.
Okay, great. Well, that concludes our debate for today. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming down, and this has been a wonderful debate.